Hello, you're right, and welcome to your next geography lesson. To begin with, could you look at these 9 questions and answer as many as you can? They're all based on knowledge that you've learned in previous lessons. Give them all a go. We'll go to the answers in just a second. Spend no more than 10 minutes on this. Pause the video now. Okay, here are some answers to read through. You can always flick back to the previous slide by rewinding the video if you need to check what question these were. But if you could check your answers, and any that you've made incorrect, could you please correct them now as well? Spend no more than 5 minutes on this. Pause the video now. Okay, let's move on to today's lesson then, now that we have our prior knowledge back in our head. What is the climate of the Middle East like? Could you please copy that title, making sure that you've got the M and the E of Middle East as capitals, question mark at the end. Don't forget the date, read through those objectives and get yourself your equipment ready. To get a world map, you can use something like Google Maps. You could have an atlas. You could just go into an image search and type in world map. What you're specifically looking for here is country names. So if you use the term a political world map, that's exactly what you'll get. Pause the video and get cracking with the title. Okay, so some key terms to copy down to begin with. The first one, location, meaning where something is found. Climate, the pattern of weather over a long period of time, or what the weather is usually like. You should be familiar with these words already, but just in case, we're reminding ourselves now. And finally, vegetation, nice and simple, plants. So jot those 3 things down for me, please. It should take you, well, it says 5 minutes there, but to be quite frank, it should take you about 2. So write them down and we'll move on. Pause the video. Okay, so reminder at the top there. Last year you learnt about biomes, and here are the locations. This is something you learnt in year 7. You looked at the location and what different biomes of the world are like, and the fact that biomes are the ways of describing the environment. So each of these coloured areas shares a common environmental characteristic. For example, the darkest of greens there, the tropical rainforest, something that we talked about in year 7 as well. Tropical rainforest shares the characteristic that it's very hot, it's very wet, it's absolutely covered in dense vegetation. It's similar in all those places. Not exactly the same, they're not all going to be identical, but they share similar characteristics. I'd like you to describe the location of the Mediterranean, desert, and savanna biomes. So use the key to work out how they're shown, the colours, find out where they are, and then write me for each of them a short paragraph telling me where they are in the world. And look for patterns. For example, latitude. Are they found along the equator? The tropical rainforest, for example, is located around the equator between the Tropic of Cancer and Capricorn. Mostly. Yes, there are some areas that poke out north and south from that, but mostly that's where they're found. That's what I mean by the latitude pattern. Are they found in particular continents? So, for example, again, tropical rainforests are found, in fact, in all continents except for Europe. The largest areas being found in South and Southeast Asia, in Central Africa, and in the northern part of South America. You could also use compass directions, and notice I've already started doing that, talking about Southeast Asia, North, South America. So use compass directions where you can, and any other locational language, anything else that helps me to find out where they are located. So 3 paragraphs to write, should take 10 minutes to do this. Get going now, pause the video. Okay, so let's have a look at some answers. Your job is to follow me as I go through this. Make any corrections you need to. You can pause at any time to do that. Just make sure if I've written something here and you haven't, you jot this down as well. So the Mediterranean biome is in the coastal areas surrounding the Mediterranean Sea. That's the most important bit. All the Mediterranean biome locations are on the coast, including parts of southern Europe through countries such as France and Spain, North Africa through countries such as Libya and Algeria, and the Middle East including parts of Israel. It is also found in South Australia. It is located at 30 to 40 degrees north and 30 degrees south. So we've got patterns here of the coast, patterns of continents and countries, their location along the coast, but also along this latitude line. Now, hopefully what you've noticed going back to the map, and feel free to pause in a second and have a look, is that pretty much all the biomes are found along lines of latitude. They are found either along a very specific one or in a sort of band between 2 of them. So here, for example, between 30 and 40 degrees north. Why? Well, this is to do with the climate, and this is to do with some of the things you learned about earlier in the year. But we're not going to get into that too much now. We're just looking at what it's like. So, hot deserts. Most hot and dry deserts are near the Tropic of Cancer or the Tropic of Capricorn. Again, a latitude pattern there. They're located in all continents except Europe. And temperate grassland. Most temperate grassland is located between 30 and 55 degrees north, with a small area at 30 degrees south. Another latitude pattern. The largest area is in the Middle East and Central Asia, with another large area in the center of North America. So what you'll notice there is the Middle East falls into all three of these. And this is why we're learning about these three today, because these are the three main biomes located in the Middle East. Right, if you need to pause again now to do any corrections, do so. Otherwise, I'm going to move on. Okay, so as you can see on the board, here are the three, as we've just said, and some photos of them just to remind you what they look like. The desert there, very much a hot desert, and some really, I guess, stereotypical images of the hot desert found in countries like Saudi Arabia there. Sand dunes as far as the eye can stretch, very standard kind of image of a desert. But remember, deserts don't have to be sandy, they can be rocky as well. And in fact, remember, there are also cold deserts, which will be covered in ice. So this is a hot desert though, and a very stereotypical sandy desert at that. Down in the bottom left, we have temperate grassland found in countries like Iran. Iran is mostly temperate grassland, as well as some mountainous areas, as you learned about before. Temperate grassland, well, it looks a lot like the grassland in this country, but what you'll notice is very, very few trees around. The difference between there and here is we get a lot more trees, and if the land was left natural, we would be covered in trees, whereas the land here naturally is not. And finally, in the Mediterranean there, if you've been to the Mediterranean on holiday, if you've been to southern France, Italy, Spain, countries like that, Greece, you'll have been in the Mediterranean biome. It's warm. It's cooler in winter, but not cold by a long way. But there we go. We get bushes, trees, often things designed to live in that warmer climate. So you'll find lots of citrus fruits, for example, growing here, lemons and things like that. So I'd like you to copy this down. The Middle East is mostly a desert biome with smaller areas of Mediterranean and temperate grassland. Just to really make that key point that these are the three. And this is the key bit of information I'd like you to remember. So pause here and copy that down. Okay, got a little video for you to watch. You can either type that in or hopefully the link is on class charts. You have questions A to I to answer, please, in full sentences. So for A, for example, what fraction of the Earth's land area is covered by deserts? You would put the fraction of the Earth's land area is covered by deserts. Say half of the Earth's land area is covered by deserts, a quarter, a third, whatever the fraction is, and so on and so on. So get answering those, and we'll do the answers on the next slide. So pause now. Okay, so here are your answers. A fifth of the Earth's land area is covered by desert. A sixth of the world's population lives in deserts. And that's one that I often find really surprises people. 1/6 of everyone in this planet lives in a desert. You'd think it would be much lower than that. The name of the world's largest desert is the Sahara Desert. You probably knew that already. D, deserts have less than 250 millimeters of rainfall a year. So 250 millimeters, 25 centimeters over a whole year. That is really not very much. That is barely anything. E, the maximum temperature is 50 degrees during the day. Ooh, halfway to boiling. When we get into the 30s in this country, we all complain about how hot it is and we can't do anything. This is 50. This is crazy hot. F, the minimum temperature is 0 degrees at night. So freezing. It gets very, very cold at night. G, the name for the water sources sometimes found in deserts are oases, or oases even, as plural. H, plants have adapted by having short growing cycles or being near an oasis. And I, an example is the salt bushes and the gaff trees. There are loads of other examples you could have potentially included. So there we go. Any corrections you need to make, any answers you didn't get, jot them down now, and we'll move on. Okay, so a final task for you to do. This is a bit of extra watching here. This is going to go beyond your lesson. So if you find yourself looking for something to do, got a bit of time to kill, maybe even watch this as a family, you just need access to BBC iPlayer. So just get in it. You can go through the internet straight to it, or if you have an app on a device, you can go through there and watch Planet Earth episode 5, deserts. It's all about deserts. It's great to watch. It's going to give you loads of interesting stuff. If you can jot down at least 5 facts that you learned from this program on top of what you've learned in this lesson, and you send it to your teacher, you are definitely going to get an achievement point for going above and beyond with your geography education and work. So with that in mind, I'll leave that on the screen. That is for you to do should you wish. If you don't have time for it, then that is not compulsory by a long way. Otherwise, have a lovely day. That's where we'll finish today. Take care and goodbye.